Assalamualaikum everyone. I'm here as the representative of Group 1 to present our topic, MURABAHAH, the application of Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad. So today, I will present about Islamic finance. Islamic finance, a financial system that is growing rapidly around the world. It is based on Islamic principles and avoid interest, uncertainty and gambling. And we might ask ourselves, why does Islamic finance avoid this element? It is because they lead to injustice and a lack of transparency. Islamic finance follows Sharia law and aims to protect social and economic well-being. Malaysia is actually recognized as a global leader in this industry, and Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad is the first Islamic bank in this country. One of the most common contract used in Islamic banking is Murabahah contract. Murabahah simply means cost plus profit sale. But what makes Murabahah special? The seller must clearly disclose the actual cost before adding profit, because without transparency, the contract becomes invalid. Murabahah has four important elements, which is the seller and buyer, the offer and acceptance, the subject matter or asset, and the price. This element ensure the contract is clear and fair. At Bank Islam, Murabahah is a practice through a process where the bank buys and owns the asset first, take the risk, and then sell it to the customer. And why does the bank do this? Is to make sure the transaction follow Sharia principle. So in this presentation, we will explain how the Murabahah contract works and how it is applied in Islamic banking, especially at Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad.
Imagine you want to buy a car. Normally, you might take a conventional loan with bank interest. But in Islamic finance, there's a Murabahah, a Sharia compliant way to finance asset without riba, transparency and fair. I will explain how it works. Murabahah works in 6 main steps. First, the customer applies for financing from an IFI. Second, the IFI evaluates and approves the request. Third, the customer is appointed as the bank agent to purchase the asset and promise to buy it later. 4. After that, the asset is acquired but the IFI owns it. 5. The IFI sells the asset to the customer at cost plus profit, fully disclosed. And 6. Finally, the customer repays the IFI according to the agreed deferred payment schedule. Now, let's look at the basic rules of Murabahah. First, the IFI must own the asset before selling it. Second, the IFI must take a possession and bear the risk. Third, the cost and profit must be fully disclosed. Finally, the sale must be fully acquired. These rules ensure the transaction is fair, transparent and compliant with Sharia. Murabahah is also fully permissible in Islam. The Quran allows trade and prohibits usury. The Prophet Muhammad SAW allow parties to reconsider deals before finalizing. Additionally, scholars confirm its permissibility through ijma and qiyas. Therefore, Murabahah is legal, ethically and fully Sharia compliant.
Next, I will explain the main issues in the application of Murabahah contracts in Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, also known as BIMB. The first category is Sharia and contemporary issues. BIMB is criticized for its heavy use of tawarruk, as some scholars argue that this makes Islamic products resemble the conventional loans. Another issue is ownership. In Sharia, customers should take the physical possession of the commodity, but in BIMB's practice, ownership often exists only on paper, creating paper sales. Financing is also weakly connected to the real economic activity, focusing on cash rather than the actual trade. This can negatively affect the economy as customers receive less cash but must repay much more, increasing the overall debt. The second category is the financial and risk management issues. Under this category, there are several main issues, which are: the first one is credit risk. BIMB may suffer losses if the property value drop below the customer debts. The second is market risk. Murabahah financing exposes the bank to losses when the asset prices fall. The third is late payment problems. Sharia rules prevent high penalties, causing the possible payment delays. The last is no clear solution for default. changing profit rates for defaulting customers requiring long administrative and legal processes. The third category is the operational and recovery issues. Under this category, there are two main issues. The first issue is the fixed price problem. In Murabahah, the price is fixed from the beginning. This makes it difficult for BIMB to help customers who face the financial problems. The second issue is the rebate or IBRA issues. Early payment rebates are not guaranteed. The amount of rebate depends on the bank's decision, which creates the uncertainty for the customers. The next category is legal and judicial issues. When cases go to the civil court, there is a legal uncertainty because Sharia rules may not fully match with civil law. This makes the legal process more complex and more slower. And some court decisions forced BIMB to change from BBA to other contracts to reduce the legal risk. The last category is the internal operational issues. Some staff may not fully understand the Sharia rules. This can cause mistake in documents and weaken the contract.
So let's explore Murabahah in Bank Islam. Murabahah is a cost plus sale where the bank discloses the asset cost and also the profit margin. Besides that, Bank Islam use Murabahah to the purchase order that we call as MPO, where the customer promise to buy the asset after the bank purchased it. For the payment can be made by installments or a lump sum at a future date. Then how Bank Islam applies the Murabahah contract? Customer choose the asset and applies for the financing. Bank Islam buys the asset from the dealer and becomes the owner. Bank then sells the asset to the customer at cost plus profit margin that we call as fixed price. Customer then pays through deferred installments. So now let's move to the Sharia compliance element. The first one is bill transparency, where the bank discloses the cost price and also the cost margin. The second one is asset back. Bank must own the asset before selling it. And the third one is riba free. Bank earns the profit from the sale and not from the interest. Murabahah being popular because it is simple, transparent, and also suitable for asset-based in financing. It also follows Sharia standards that set by Bank Negara Malaysia. Bank Islam also ensures the proper documentation and ownership to avoid any Sharia issues. This makes Murabahah is one of the most widely used Islamic financing methods in Malaysia.
To conclude, Murabahah is one of the key financing contracts used by Bank Islam because it's transparent, asset-based, and follow all the Sharia requirements. In this contract, the bank buys the asset first, then sell to the customer at the disclosed cost and profit, which is help avoid riba and ensure the transaction is fair and ethical. However, the use of Murabahah also brings several challenges. Issues such as a heavy reliance on tawarruk, the lack of real economic involvement, credit risk, and legal complication can affect how the contract works in practice. These challenges show that Islamic banks must continue improving their process to stay fully Sharia compliant. Despite this issue, Bank Islam still applies Murabahah in a proper and structured way, with clear ownership, proper documentation, and strong Sharia oversight. Overall, Murabahah remains a practical and reliable financing method that supports ethical banking and contribute positively to the Islamic financial system. Thank you.